The culture is actually damn good.
We're not urinating on the fire.
You can stop asking that question. I'm going to be calling the defenses.
I'm open. Always open.
I'm calling both games.
Winter is coming, and the darkness creeps up on us like age itself. But while life on the outside freezes, with DraftKings, the sponsor of this video, the end of 2023 will be sizzling. The first benefit is a staple. All new customers can bet just $5 and receive $150 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of outcome. But what about people like me? I've been a part of DraftKings for a few years now, and I unfortunately can't clone myself to take advantage of such an offer. No sweat. If you make a same-game parlay, say I'm interested in Minnesota hitting a few overs in their next game, but it doesn't end up panning out, you'll get a bonus bet just for making it. A true no-sweat bet. Also, don't forget that if DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state, daily fantasy contests are available to help you flex your skill for cash prizes aplenty. So the plan's set. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code UTREE to take advantage of these tantalizing offers. And that's courtesy of DraftKings, an official betting partner of the NFL. Always remember to gamble responsibly. The Lions losing on Thanksgiving is an evergreen tradition. They've been winless in the Sportsball era and it continued on. Detroit, infested with holiday cheer, paid it forward with the spirit of giving. Green Bay's injured to all hell and their defense has been maligned, but why not give Vanilla Joe Barry a solid performance from his unit? Jared Goff looking as sloppy as he did days earlier and the Lions asleep in the den again. Live by the cojones and die by them as well. A goose egg on 4th down all game. Even on fake punts at their own 23. Bad news, boys, you aren't playing Chicago. With the Swiss cheese on display, Aaron Glenn should only be at one location, and it's The Hague. His defense is guilty of war crimes. With how dominant they made Jordan Love look all game, all they needed was a Hail Mary, and it was as if Aaron Rodgers never left. Do I have to whip out the F-slur for the Lions? You know what? I'm gonna do it. They're looking like frauds right now. Their only win against a group over 500 was a Chiefs team that couldn't catch syphilis in a dark alley. The way they're running, they're more than earning another loss in the wildcard round. You handed Green Bay a shred of legitimate hope on a silver platter. Did you really have to give that grease fire of a fan base oxygen? A perfect day in Dallas. America's team crushing commies like it's a thinly veiled propaganda flick from the 80s. Is it more of a Rambo 2 or a Red Dawn? Compared to those movies, the villain showed some semblance of a threat. Washington wasn't close. If their tactics were as poor and out of date as Jack Del Rio's defense, the movie would be over in 20 minutes. We expected the Cowboys to kick ass today. And unsurprisingly, they kicked ass. Against another paper-soft opponent, they took care of business. Nobody's even impressed with it since we have Tweedledee and Tweedledum managing things so poorly they're either punting on 4th and short near the 40 or going out of fucking shotgun on 4th and 1. Wasting a relatively solid offensive performance near effortlessly. Nothing they do is neither right nor logical, and it shows in this complete Pornhub-style blowout. All it needs is icing on the cake and it's ready to be a facial. Deron Bland is another pick 6 delivery. His 5th of the year. Say turkey legs in celebration, but they already did that earlier in the quarter. I wonder if Del Rio having the game passed him by and being fired can be called a dust-up. To any Seahawks fans that were pissed at me earlier, you don't have to question if I watched the game or not. I want my 3 hours back. What I saw merely confirmed my biases against their failure to reach their potential. Anything that could go wrong for them in the first half did and amplified itself tenfold. Offense stuffed. The defense destroyed repeatedly by the 49ers' assault. Muffed punts. Tariq Woolen benched in the second quarter. And a missed field goal for good measure. Doesn't matter what happens from here, too late to do anything against a team out for blood. It was a nightmare up in Seattle. But it's more due to San Francisco. Minus a few slip-ups, they showed us all they will destroy anyone in their path. To be fair, they didn't have to try that hard here. Not when you're going up against the epitome of Seattle's season. Shotgun on 4th and inches. Stop proving me right, Seahawks. On an interview recently, Tom Brady bemoaned the incredible amount of mediocrity in the NFL today. Not only am I going to say that he's one of the major people responsible for the state this league's in, he was too nice in his assessment. The level of shitty play I've seen in the past few years makes me wish for mediocrity. A good chunk of these games have been unwatchable. Black Friday, what a great day for football. I can't wait to sit down and watch Tim fucking Boyle start a quarterback. Somehow, someway, the terrible Jets offense got even worse. Colin Kaepernick, 7 years out of the NFL, would have unironically been a better option. Hell, Vinny Testaverde would have probably been better. The Jets defense is the only thing keeping them relevant at all. Thank you, Tua, for gifting easy picks on out routes to them. But you know what? I should be more positive. Tim Boyle can say one thing to his grandkids someday.
Meanwhile, he just tries to get away from everybody, throws it into the end zone, into a lot of traffic, and there's a pick on the other side. And coming back from the end zone is Holland, and Holland is out to midfield, and Holland is inside the 40, and Holland is inside the 20. Can you believe this?
He threw a 99-yard touchdown pass in the NFL. This is peak Jets. A rubber stamp of complete fail that comes once in a full moon and epitomizes why this team should contract. They threw everything at a golden goose that tore his Achilles before he laid eggs thanks to a terrible offensive line. What do you get with an all-in push like this? Jet sweeps off the damn field. A microcosm of the New York fucking Jets. Lolcow of the week, this is a Lolcow of the year nominee. Anyone who's a fan of this team should be entitled to compensation. Raising your kid to be a Jets fan should be classified as child abuse. Miami won, but America lost by being addicted to shitty football. The Dolphins have still proven nothing, but it doesn't matter. Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas have no answers and are going to be sent to the guillotine, justified or not, for this failure. Woody Johnson loves him some good scapegoats. This game happened? I thought it was banished to an endless void. It's kind of how it played out. An endless void. Plays just happened. Carolina, with a supposed all-star coaching staff, only made the Titans' defense look like all-stars. At the very least, we get to see King Henry rumble against an opponent again. An increasingly rare sight these days. It was 17-3 Tennessee at half, and it was pretty much over from there. The second half just kinda existed, I guess. Carolina was only down by 7 points, but their offense, like most weeks, just shut down. It'd be awfully nice if they didn't keep on doing their drives with holding penalties, or continuing to kill Bryce with sacks. You do realize you lost to a team that went 2 for 11 on third down, right? The Titans barely lifted a finger and the Panthers were still ruined. Frank Reich isn't just lost, he's destroyed out there. Fitterer is fiddling with himself as he burns draft picks, and David Tepper is pissed after the game. If you want somewhere to start, I'd recommend a hard look in a mirror. The mirror must have told Tepper that he needed to fire more people. To be fair, Frank Reich is a terrible fit in Carolina. His schemes are horrifically bad, the team has flat out regressed throughout the season, and he has nothing to fix it. Bryce Young went from the supposed most NFL-ready QB in the draft to the most ready to be flung into a fire. The offense is a train wreck and the defense is a hospital ward. Carson Wentz didn't just break himself, he apparently broke Reich as well. He did want CJ Stroud instead of Bryce after all. It was long doomed and they didn't want to stretch this any further. The Fourth Reich implodes on itself. Again. Everyone and their mother knows the main issue on the team isn't Reich, but sure let Tepper think that he isn't it. He'll fire Scott Fitterer at the end of the year and fling money around at any poor saps that want to deal with this trash heap. Who doesn't want to traverse through no first-round pick, a roster in disarray, and a meddlesome owner? Too bad money can't fix the team finding out about the firing on social media. At this point, I think Panthers fans might be missing Jerry Richardson. Do you know how bad you have to be to think that? There haven't been many surprises in this NFL season, as order has been the name of the game. However, there's one question many scholars might ask. How the hell do the Indianapolis Colts keep winning? There might be a few reasons. One being their defense. It's doing a fantastic job of holding opponents at bay. And despite Shaquille Leonard's talents being sapped by injuries, they've neutralized most things thrown at them. The easy schedule they have might be an asterisk, but Tampa Bay isn't exactly a slouch of an opponent. Or they aren't in theory. For whatever reason, the Buccaneers just never had a solution for anything Indy threw at them. I will admit they're injured to hell in the secondary, but the whole defense has been sloppy as of late. Any chance to recover to tie will be squandered. Tampa Bay will get it back to one score. The Colts are giving them chances to win. Yet every opportunity turns into a 30-yard game by Indianapolis on 4th and 1. It's more frustrations to go with the continued frustrations. And it will only go on as Todd Bowles continues to throw his own players under the bus. What's that? Tampa has another chance, you say?
This is 2-down territory here. Mayfield, football's loose. Who's got it?
Indianapolis has recovered.
There's a reason why they've lost 6 of 7. Yes, your eyes aren't deceiving you. The Indianapolis Colts have a record over 500. They're currently holding a fucking playoff spot. I can't believe it either. Some good work by Shane Steichen and company. Only if Jim Irsay wasn't an entire circus of scatterbrained takes, I managed to take them seriously. I love this timeline. A matchup that only sick fucks like myself could enjoy. Tommy DeVito's magical run to 6 wins against Mac Jones. Somehow not left behind in Germany. It's just as horrible as I imagined it to be. Have you ever watched The Room? This game was its equivalent. So bad it's fucking hilarious. New England is setting offense back to days of leather helmets. Little Mac is more than overcooked. Dude's become char dissipating into the wind. Juju's arguing with coaches on the sidelines, and the Patriots have transported themselves back to 1990. Before you ask, Tommy DeVito is doing things on offense. Somehow. Time's up on the hoodie surge from hell, and Satan's come to collect his due. Bill's doing anything he can to salvage the game, and with how far Mac has fallen, this might have been the last straw. The clone Bailey Zappi is back in at QB. And they did manage to score a touchdown on the first drive of the second half. Don't expect much else after that. Endless punting in one of the greatest games ever played. In this specific spot at this point in time. Hey, if Bailey Zappi wants to chuck the ball into triple coverage again, who's to stop him? It'll lead to a field goal for the Giants to ruin their tank, which is perfect for the slop on display. But by some means of telekinesis, the Patriots are able to move the football forwards with the clock winding. Oh boy, a chip shot field goal to take us to overtime. I can't wait.
Will attempt to tie the game. Rollins kick is no good. Wide to the left.
Honestly, they did us a favor. If we had to suffer through more of this shit, MetLife would have simply cratered into the earth. The football world would have rejoiced. The Giants win the battle, but lose the war for Caleb or Drake. Sorry, New York, those QBs are for New England to ruin. The dream is dead. Desmond Ridder is back in the saddle to be shit at quarterback for Atlanta. God has forsaken us all. Watching such unbelievably terrible offense from both sides would be one thing, but then you realize that this game is for the NFC South Division lead. One of these teams will probably be getting crushed by Dallas at home in the wildcard round. The Cowboys sit at home licking their chops. This game simply turns into who wants to lose the game more. Atlanta tries their damnedest, but New Orleans? Good lord. Hate something as much as the Saints hate play inside the 20. They had 5 red zone opportunities in this contest, and only came out of them with 9 points? How can you be this continuously awful at executing anything besides yourself? Desmond Ridder's out here throwing dimes to your secondary, yet Derek Carr's trying to get his receivers killed. Horrible penalties killing momentum. Almost 450 yards of offense? Doesn't matter, we need to get the ball to Taysom Hill every chance we can. Arthur Smith is the greatest escape artist of his own contraptions. Oh my god, you realize that Bijan is really goddamn good and you spent a top 10 pick on him? It's almost as if you're trying to win the game or something. This said a hell of a lot more about New Orleans, but the Falcons do get first place in the NFC South, with the sub 500 record. Oh yeah, baby. Tank Division is back. I can't believe it. Actual offense for the Steelers in a regular season game. Thought I'd never see such a sight again. Using the middle of the field, throwing to Pat Freiermuth, spreading the ball around for a balanced attack. If it weren't for Deontay Johnson dropping an easy touchdown and giving 0 fucks during a fumble, they'd have far more than 3 points at half. Too bad since he's not at full strength. Jake Browning, he was not Joe Burrow. I'll just leave it at that. Still don't know why the hell they used him like he was Burrow, but if Zach Taylor wants to lose games, that's his choice. I'm more stunned that Pittsburgh's able to move the ball more than 10 yards most drives. Even the game clocks were stunned in solidarity. They're not scoring many points, I get that, but considering the hackery of Matt Canada these past few years, this is like watching the greatest show on turf. The Steelers hadn't had 400 yards of offense for the entirety of Canada's reign and then some. They broke that total in the first game after his ouster. Pittsburgh outgained an opponent for the first time all season. It's ridiculously damning. Why did the organization let this fester for so long? Without Canada, this was their most complete win in years. It's so fucking sad. This win may be against a broken team, but tonight we burn everything Canadian. Call me crazy, but I never saw this matchup as having huge implications for the AFC South at the start of the year. A battle of young quarterbacks to prove who will have superiority over the division. Know how it'll be good? Watch as Stroud flings a deep bomb to Tank Dell effortlessly, as it's undone by an alleged illegal shift penalty. We have to give credit to the real stars of the show, the officials. Some of the penalties that were being called in this match were baffling to the mind. Both sides suffered some of the most heinous ref ball we've seen in a few weeks. It's third down near the goal line. Houston will get called for defensive pass interference. Wait, this is pass interference? Okay then, touchdown Jacksonville. The fight will continue on regardless, with great skill and talent bringing a show to the crowd in attendance. The Jags holding on for dear life and yearning for more, if Doug Peterson simply chose to take the points at half. To be fair, not on him for this interception, that just happens. CJ Stroud also just happens, and leads a touchdown drive to take the lead. But do you know what this game needs? More defensive pass interference. Not good enough, it's a flag one, get one free deal. Did I mention that this officiating crew likes calling defensive pass interference? Jacksonville retakes control of the game, and Houston's trying to bring it back from a 10-point deficit, but somehow can't get out of their own way sometimes. Rookie mistakes, I guess. Would Brendan McManus missing a kick be considered a rookie mistake? I guess that just happens. Same as Stroud engineering a touchdown drive to get back within 3. There's going to be one more chance for Houston here. They do everything they can to get close, but must settle for the fringes of field goal range. It's desperation time in Houston. They're once again forced to trust Matt Amendola.
From 58 yards away, it's on line. Does it have the distance? No! It's short!
Off the crossbar. A fitting way to end this game. At this rate, the refs would probably flag the uprights for pass interference. Yes, this crew's probably going to be reffing a championship game in January. That's just how it goes. The Rams liked the taste of humiliating a division rival last week. They chose to catch that same high this time around. Arizona isn't anywhere near the catch that Seattle was, but you know what they say. When you're addicted to something, you'll stoop to deep lows to get any sort of fix. LA will simply crush this pathetic worm beneath their feet. Matthew Stafford will return to the legend of old, effortlessly slinging 4 touchdowns on the day against a Cardinal eager to die. Kyron Williams is back and he's burning everything he touches today. 228 yards of rushing for the team as a whole. It's what the Rams have missed the most. Complete victory. There's nothing like the high of domination, even if it is Arizona. With how the NFC shaping up, there's still a fighting chance for a playoff spot. We should know by now that we can't celebrate Kansas City's demise when it's so early in the game. So the Chiefs' offense looks awful once again, and the Raiders have a 14-0 lead with Josh Jacobs destroying worlds. Great. It means nothing. Didn't we have close to the same script last year? Josh McDaniels may not be here anymore, but the Chiefs sure know how to put one up on the Raiders. Receiving woes? Not against this lethargic excuse of a secondary, you ain't. Just run the same damn crossing routes ad nauseum. Las Vegas can't stop it for shit, so why change it up? There will only be further humiliation of a team that was supposed to have turned the corner, but it only shows us that the scars of Raider Nation run deep. Marcus Peters has to be a double agent. With how little he gave a fuck, he's being exiled for treason. As the Raider offense is silent after the strong start, the Chiefs get back on track at the very least. And they do it fast. Like Travis Kelce getting to 11,000 receiving yards in his career. On to the next victim. The hopium in Denver is spreading like a disease. A virulent, exponentially growing specimen that infests your nervous system and hijacks all feeling and movement. A win streak against playoff caliber opponents will tend to do that. Mention all the asterisks in the world, it does not matter. The Broncos keep winning because fuck you. Dorian Thompson-Robinson can do next to nothing in this contest, mostly because his receivers can't catch anything around here. Even the hopium. That'd be one thing, but even their defense is struggling to generate any traction. Incredibly sloppy all around. The Browns' weakness is being picked apart in the Rocky Mountain air. It only got worse as DTR was picked apart by a screaming Broncos defender. PJ Walker ain't doing shit against this unit. Russell Wilson will take over on that end. Denver wins their 5th in a row in incredibly easy fashion. They took a legitimate threat and dispatched them without breaking a sweat. As I said, hopium is a hell of a drug, and they're earning every last bit of it. I know you guys. I'm scared too. Must-win time for the Bills. and they'll be getting no help from their opponent. The elements may be even more unforgiving than the Eagles are. It's been an incredibly agonizing endeavor for Buffalo. And like most other contests they played, the only mantra is self-inflicted wounds. The Bills can't stop taking penalties. It's giving Philly a chance in life, despite Buffalo looking like the significantly better team throughout the affair. And it doesn't help that the officials aren't calling horse collar tackles on Allen. Oh, the fans are complaining? Then it's intentional grounding on Josh. As icing on the cake, they missed that field goal. A touchdown kinda sorta makes up for it, but when it rains, it pours. In this case, Tyler Bass missing another field goal. Welcome to the offensive duel, where Jalen Hurts finally manages to activate his abilities after a long startup, and Josh Allen returns to being a fire god. Both men slinging the rock in these miserable conditions as Buffalo clings to a slim lead, until Josh Allen malfunctions and gives Philly prime field position. I'd say the defense would do its job, but then the high-end talent shows up for the Eagles. You give up that on a 3rd and long. The bullshit is real. Time is ticking and Buffalo needs to counter fast. Fortunately, Josh Allen has been known to carry the Bills and he's doing so again. A convincing drive by the Fire God puts victory within grasp. He puts them up by 3, and Philly's forced to scramble. They're not doing much to help Jake Elliott, and he'll have to try for a prayer. It looks impossible, but what's that sound I'm hearing?
Romano to snap it to man. Elliott puts the toe on it, and the kick is good!
As I said, the bullshit is real. 59 yards in these shitty conditions? It's one of the best kicks of the year. High-end talent saves the Eagles a spot in overtime. Buffalo gets ball first, which should allow them their first overtime win in the Josh Allen era. If there wasn't a massive miscommunication on what should have been the game-winning TD, you can't give Philly an inch. And too bad for Buffalo, they'll be giving up yards. There will be more controversy, more home cooking in these miserable conditions. But we all know the inevitable's gonna happen.
The pedigree of championship teams. Here goes Hurts! Hurts to the end zone! And the Eagles have won it in overtime!
Philly steals another win from the clutches of fate itself. Even when nearly everything went right in some areas, it inexplicably backfires on the Bills. Undone by countless errors, both inadvertent and self-inflicted. The refs were shit, but you can't even solely blame them for this. Buffalo dominated this game on paper, but devastatingly lost again. And this one might cost them the season if we're being honest. Staring into the barrel of a gun is all they're doing. Nobody told them that the Eagles like to pull the trigger. They do for a lot of teams that can't finish them off. Watching the Chargers play football is an evergreen experience. You can simply gaze at box scores after the fact and come to the conclusion that, yep, chargering happened again. Despite every opportunity to take hold of the match, and trust me, there were plenty, Liquid LA continually cursed themselves no matter what. So the refs aren't going to call a late hit on Herbert out of bounds. Well, they'll just use an Uno reverse card on you for unnecessary roughness. Baltimore may be leading, but they can't stop being held back by John Harbaugh being John Harbaugh. But my friends, we know the Chargers have to one-up it in the best way possible. Painful fumbles by skill position players. On multiple occasions. And golden chances as well. Ravens may be leading by 10, but they've checked out from trying to pass block. And the Bolts have a chance. A 19-play drive, burning endless clock and imposing their will. What do they do as they get to the red zone? Can't seal the edge, fumble in the pocket, recovered by Baltimore. This was their whole damn game. Doesn't matter that they scored a touchdown late because Justin Tucker's automatic.
Good from 42, good from 48, and from 44, he missed! Oh my goodness.
Holy shit, he's mortal. Too bad the Chargers are no longer lingering on the mortal coil. As I said, what's the point of having expectations for this team? Baltimore was definitely beatable here, but Liquid LA can't stop falling for the same damn traps over and over again. A flawed team with a failed vision, poor coaching, and no cohesion. And it grants the Ravens the #1 seed in the AFC for the time being. Predictable Chargering. At least they didn't lose by 3 or less this time. God showed mercy. You must suffer for your art. It's what men wiser than me say, but if it involves watching this shit, I'd rather avoid the pain. This contest was fucking terrible. Hilariously incompetently terrible. The only thing worth mentioning was that it was a game. Some may say, the greatest game. No, that's just idiotic.
Bring out Jaden!
Unit lost.
Bring
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost.
The bloodlust of the football gods will never be quenched. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a first in my 20-something year broadcasting career. We have an alarm going off in the studios of NFL Red Zone right now, in our studios here in Inglewood, California. We are being told we need to evacuate the building. We do not know the nature of the emergency. You can probably hear the alarm going right over the top of my right shoulder here, as it is something absolutely unprecedented for us.